think the first time I remember hearing jazz was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and its intro. And at that time I didn't understand the effect that music could have, but I knew that there was something there that drew me in. And then as I got older, I watched Bob Ross, and Bob Ross's intro was really jazzy, and it had this nice chord progression that ended in a minor, and it was so just chill and vibey, and it's really hard to put those things to words, like how jazz makes you feel, but it was right then. I was 3 and 4 watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, 5, 6 watching Bob Ross. And I followed Bob Ross all throughout my life, and in fact, I still watch him. We moved to a new house, and it was the first time we'd had cable. And I was probably 4th grade, so I would have been 9 or 10. And we had the Weather Channel, and I remember the Weather Channel having that music on there, and I asked my dad, what kind of music is that? I want to buy those CDs. And he would say, well, it's easy listening. He wasn't a music guy. So I couldn't ever find the CDs, and I finally determined, and everybody makes fun of it, but I finally determined that it was smooth jazz. And even though smooth jazz has become sort of a meme within the jazz community, I think it was really the gateway that got me into genuinely listening to jazz and listening for changes and trying to figure out what was going on within the structure of the music. And it was just so encapsulating that it held these, like traditional jazz, but it had some hip-hop elements and some R&B and even a little soul in some of it, because the sax would speak. It was like a voice. It was like a singer. And I thought it was so fascinating that you could use instruments in a way that was almost vocal rather than as backing instruments for the human voice. Fast forward to 16-year-old me, and I decided I wanted to learn to play guitar. A lot of my friends in high school were playing it, and I was really interested in it. I wanted to play in a band, and at that point I had kind of lost touch with jazz. I didn't listen to it as much. I was listening to punk, emo, but I would try playing the same stuff, and it all ended up sounding the same, and it wasn't difficult. I never was interested in playing like hot solos and lead guitar and all this. I liked the construction, the actual composition of the song, and I liked to build the layers. So it wasn't that I was focused on being extra technical. I just wanted to have the entirety of the song and be able to play that whole thing. And that's kind of where I started picking up on jazz again, because I realized that a lot of these guys were playing the lead and the rhythm together, and they were really creating this nice sound that was a whole song rather than just playing rhythm for a rock band or just playing lead, which felt so empty to me. I don't think the Telecaster gets as much love in the jazz community as it should. It's by far my favorite jazzy instrument. I love the tone of the neck pickup, and I turn the tone almost all the way down so that it's almost muffled, it's kind of muted, and it just has such a great sound, and it sounds so different compared to the bridge pickup, which is twangy and very country, very Nashville sounding. Essentially, the only reason I bought a turntable was so that I could pick up like really old jazz albums. That's a really great one. I'd never heard of him, and I found that on Facebook Marketplace. This is so emotional and kind of dark. I listen to it when I'm driving, when I'm cooking, when I'm in the shower. I try to incorporate it into as much of my work as possible. I just think it needs more love. Jazz is USA's one cultural export, and it needs more love. I love jazz.